Hey guys, in this video I'm gonna teach you everything you need to know about high order component. So here you can see a basic component that fetch data and set it to the state and render it in the UI. The problem with this is we cannot reuse either this business logic or this rendering logic. So in the last video I talked to you about how to use container presentation pattern. In that one we made this list reusable and testable. So if you haven't watched that video, please watch it because I have used all the design patterns that I'm going to teach you in this video series. So make sure you subscribe and don't miss out these things. Here, this is the diagram. First thing you notice is we have to-do list component here and we have to-do list component here. The same thing. What the hell this guy is doing? This one is with to-do component. Okay, what happened is we pass to-do list component to this component as a parameter. This component create a new component with same thing inside, and additionally we put to-dos to this component. How we put to-dos to this component? Here we have props, right? So here when we recreate this component, we pass those props. Additionally, we add this prop. Okay, in that case you have all the features that in this component and you get additional things to this component. Then we render that in the UI. Okay, so this component is called high order component. Okay, this one maintain the logic. Now how do this solve the reusable problem? So here we can create a new component called to do card list and use this logic. We pass it here and it recreate the to-do card list here, not to-do list, and here we render it in the UI. So same logic but different UI. So we can share the logic with this approach. Okay, so I showed you how to share the logic. Now I'm gonna show you the other way. So here we have the to-do list, right? That list only render these titles, right? So like we can reuse this, right? So it's not a huge deal. So here instead of with to-dos, I'm gonna with tasks and with expenses, like that. So in that way we can share this UI component with different kind of logic. Okay, now both of this business logic and rendering logic can be reusable. So problem solved. Well, there are some disadvantages. So let me code this thing first so you can get a better idea. Here I'm going to create a new component called to do list. It is a functional component. I said FC here to do list. Here I have to do's, I to do array, and here I'm gonna go to basic component and get this rendering logic and put it in here, and here I'm gonna get props. I have made this optional, so that's great. Here I'm gonna get it. If props.todos are there, then render props.todos. Okay, here I have to add. Okay, done. So I have added to-do list as optional. So I will show you why I added it like that later. Let's create high order component called with to-dos. Here it is also a functional component. Here let me make this character. Here I'm gonna get a component. Let me remove this one. We don't need it. Don't need these two. Here I'm gonna add a component. It is a functional component that has props, right? So we are passing a component to another component. So the component that we get in has props, right? So I can add any here, but it is not the right way to do this. So we have to use generic here. Here I'm gonna add T, and what generic does is, so when I add any, it is like this component props can be anything. Okay, so if I pass any, I don't get intelligence. That's a bad thing. So instead of doing that, I'm adding generic. So you can add any character here, it doesn't matter. What matter is when I pass a component right now, if that component has prop type, that type automatically become this component type. So type safety is there. Okay, here I'm going to return a new component. That component has the current component. We have to pass props here T. I'm gonna go to here and copy this logic, and here I'm gonna paste it. I'm gonna import everything. Right, I paste it in the wrong side. We shouldn't add the logic in this component. We need to add it in the one that we return. Okay, the return component has the logic. All right, now here I'm gonna pass to-dos like this. All right, now we have to add some additional type safety here with to-dos props. To do I to do array. This is also optional. Here I'm gonna add it at the end and I'm gonna pass it like this. Wow, I think type safety took more time than implementing the logic. Now I'm gonna go to to-do list. Here I'm gonna cut entire thing from here, and I'm gonna add with to-dos and pass it like this. I'm gonna cut this one and I'm gonna pass it like this. Okay, I'm gonna remove here. All right, now the implementation is done. Okay, so why I add to-dos optional here? Let me show you. So here I'm gonna get it to-do list. So I don't have to pass any props here because it is automatically passed using this with to-dos. So here in the to-do list, if I remove this one, I have to pass an empty array here. We shouldn't have to do that, right? So also in the with to-do props, if I remove it, still we have to pass it. So in the both side, I'm gonna add optional. That's why we have to add optional in the type. Also, you can see in the to-do list, I have added this type here. This is how we add generics. So here, this component props basically has these types. But when we go here, the returning component has this type, the current type we have, and additionally the type we are getting from here, getting from the high order component. Why we need that generic? So here I'm gonna show you. So now here I'm gonna add h1 props.title. Okay, now here I'm gonna pass title as to-dos. Here in the UI, now we have to-dos, right? So here I pass to-dos. Here I get to-dos from this one and I use it directly here. So there are some props that we need to use directly. There are some props we need to modify using with to-dos. So here you can see I have the to-do list props and this both combined. So in that case, if I remove this, there aren't any problem. So here we don't have to do anything here at all. The problem with this design pattern is it is like a callback here. So here I have with to-dos. If I want to add with commands, I have read it like this, just like the callback here, because we are passing this function as a callback. We talk about callback when we had the promises, right? But this one is similar. So if you don't know about callback, watch the video about callback I have. It's in top right corner. Okay, let me show you the second problem. So here, if I want to restrict it mobile, so what I have to do it, I have to add that thing outside here. So here, if I add that one, and I'm going to add that one like this. So here, I block this UI for the mobile. So if I edit that part in here, what happen is I will do all this logic just to show the restricted mobile page. So you don't have to do that, right? So in that case, you have to add that smaller logic on top. In that case, you will save a lot of resources. Alright, so is this component useless? No, absolutely not. This one is really important. You will see this one also in code and also React using that. Here, this is a memoized component and this one is high order component. Now you see, we are using it without knowing it. So I have used this design pattern to restrict pages for mobile and block pages if user isn't an admin user. So this is a great design pattern. So just like we solve callback hell using async await, we can solve this multiple logic problem using custom hooks. So I will teach you how to create a custom hooks in the next video. See you in that one. Have a nice day.